All right. There's a couple of different angles that I want to take with this. And look, let's just go into it. Let's just go right into it. Scott Morrison is Prime Minister, Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Since this tweet, of course, he got ratioed out of his damn mind. But as you can see, the article that he shares, Prime Minister vows to hit online trolls with 5 years jail. And this is, again, Scott Morrison. I don't know what's going on with my email as of late, or my internet, excuse me, email. What the hell am I talking about? But all right, man. Vows to hit online trolls with 5 years jail. And he says, as a dad, I know firsthand how anxious parents feel about their kids see, or about what their kids see and do online, and the dangers the internet can bring. Online trolls have no place in Australia, and I promise to bring in new laws to protect our kids and keep our community safe. Imagine being this guy. Imagine being this guy. And I've been trying to pull up this article again just for you guys, and there's something going on with Daily Telegraph. But imagine being this guy. Now, the angles that I wanted to take, let's first talk about how, when I talk about gun control and how it's obviously criminal, the infringements and so forth, I get all of these people pointing towards Australia. Some are actual Australians saying, look at what they did with their gun control. And some of those stats that they utilize are really dishonest. If you look at murder and crime rates, we'll save that for another video. But nonetheless, they point to that, right? And I hear stories like this. I hear this as well in the UK, where people get punished for memes and just crazy shit like that. That fortunately, in most cases, not all, certainly not all, people get punished for silly stuff out in the United States as well. But at least not to this degree, where you can see obviously a lot of people are like laying into this guy because we're like, dog, we don't deal with this type of shit. And I'm sure there's some Australians that are like, what the fuck as well. But imagine being this guy, this asshat, and utilizing the position of power that you have by way of the state to put in laws like this. I don't know if he's going to be successful or anything like that. This is what he vows. I'm not sure how it works out there. All I know is that this is your prime minister saying this. I don't want to hear shit about anything, certainly from Australians, about us and gun control when y'all got to deal with silly shit like that. About going to jail for 5 years for trolling somebody on the internet. That's not freedom. That's not freedom at all. I ain't trying to hear nothing. Don't tell me I ain't trying to hear jack from you guys when shit like that goes down. Funny thing is, though, this is why I would say that the gun control is obviously criminal as it is, but gun rights is a very, very important thing to acknowledge if you are to have any sort of chance in combating tyranny by way of your government. Fortunately, in our cases, a lot of the mainstream conservatives who claim they're for gun rights, NRAs of the world and so forth, they still are advocates of some gun control in a lot of cases. And historically speaking, when you look at like the NRA, which is just nothing but an organization that compromises with the state. A lot of the gun control acts, historically speaking, have been negotiated by way of the NRA. but mainstream conservatives act like they're for the gun rights, and then they start bootlicking guys like, well, not necessarily politicians, certainly the people that would be the ones enforcing these rules. Oh, they're just doing their job, but nonetheless, the reason why I brought that up, because I have to be careful, right? Because I do say that, yes, why that's important, not just for your own safety and so forth, but keeping the state at bay is important, and the gun rights are important in that regards. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the same people that would agree. A lot of the mainstream conservatives would agree with that. They start bullying the cops and the military, and saying, "Oh, they never would do that," and not understanding that the people that enforce these unjust laws would be something like this in Australia. But we have plenty of victimless, nonviolent crimes out here in the United States that are enforced by way of the same people that would come take your guns. And then again, we already seen this in action with further gun control and what happened. I believe it was a case in somewhere in Maryland where one of these new little red flag laws got implemented, and the cops went to enforce one of those to confiscate this man's weapon. I've covered it on this channel, and they ended up shooting a kid. It was a grown ass man, shooting a grown ass man dead because, again, he's like, come and take it, right? Those are the same guys that these guys worship. That's maybe for a different story. I've covered this, and this is one of my more controversial positions, because a lot of people like the channel love their little cops in the military. But imagine being Scott Morrison. Imagine being Scott Morrison and having this position. But this is the danger of statism and dangers of these sort of positions, because these laws get implemented incrementally. Is that a word? Incrementally? In increments, if you will. They do it slowly, and before you know it, it's illegal to collect rainwater. All right, man, that's crazy. I just wanted to show this to you. Y'all already knew my thoughts on it, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention and just have a video on it. Scott Morrison literally is trying to put people in jail for trolling people on the internet. Jesus Christ, get a grip.